And today we got special guests, good friends of mine, Taurai Jack and witness Mdaka. So they're both property investors, property developers, authors. Guys, this is some of the best storytellers that I know. And they're laughing but true. Go check them on their social media. Right, entrepreneurs, these are their books. It's more than just money. Witness Mdaka and Property Mogul in 2 years, Taurai Jack. Okay? So today we're going to talk about investment in South Africa, where we are in this current economic climate, what these guys are doing, and where do we invest our money, guys? Do we put it in property? Do we put it in stocks? Do we put it in cryptocurrencies? Eh? So it's going to be an interesting conversation about wealth creation and investment. So guys, welcome. Taurai?
My man.
How are you, my brother?
I'm all right. Good seeing you, and welcome to everyone else. Yeah?
Good stuff. Thanks for coming. Witness?
Leroy?
Thanks for coming. These guys finally came to Boksburg.
Good to see you.
Hey, they came to Boksburg. TJ said he came to 3 toll gates.
Yeah.
This is far, man.
But this is the place to be. Where the money's at.
All right, still far.
It's so far. So we travel for this money.
Yeah, but these are celebrity investors, guys. I had to beg them, I had to phone them. They were both late.
Hey, I wasn't
But anyway,
late.
we finally got them here. Hey,
I'll go here before you.
So praise the Lord. The Leroy Slava podcast. Conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Now, if you enjoy these podcasts, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to receive updates of future podcasts. We'll start. TJ, maybe if you can just tell us, I know you're busy with a lot of things, right?
Not necessarily so.
Not anymore.
I'm busy with 2 things.
Is it? Tell us what you're busy with.
Yeah, so I'm busy with 2 things. Trying to raise a strong family. That's number 1, and that's the focus. And the second one is that I'm a guy who's just looking for money. And you can't do family without the money. And you can't do money without the family. So for me, it's 2 things that I'm chasing after. Raising a strong family, I'm not good at it. I come from a background where, my own biological parents were not there. So it's a new thing for me. I'm learning a lot. Where I can get any information about raising families, I do that. I got a teenager boy who's 14, a girl, she's 7, and a beautiful wife. And the next thing that probably makes us happy as a family is having options in life. And money gives you options. And
I like that.
Yeah, and for the fact that I come from no money as well, I'm chasing money. And I think everything else that you then see, people then assume that, TJ is a property guy, or TJ buys company, TJ does that. It's just vehicles. You could be in one vehicle today to get to one destination, and when you get to the next destination, you don't need that vehicle anymore. You're in a different vehicle. So money, family, that's me, in a nutshell.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So you say you're not loyal to one investment. It's just a vehicle to get you to where you want to be in life and get your family to within it.
Yeah, so let's talk about digital currency. Digital currency was not around 15 years ago. We all started seeing, actually maybe we started understanding digital currency maybe within the last 5 to 10 years for the ordinary person, right? And again, not so many people understand it, even today. So is that a vehicle for the everyday guy? No, it's not. I think let's jump on to speak about gold.
Wait, I think before let's introduce witnesses. I see he's going straight into. You can see the
thing about Grotmans,
Hey.
they have a wealth of wisdom to share.
Wealth of
So I'm
wisdom.
sitting here thinking, let this guy
Let
continue.
this guy check. And the people are probably going to say after when they watch this, hey, witness, they're probably going to say the two of you should have just kept quiet. You should have just let this man.
You should have just let this man speak.
Witness Mdaka.
Yes, my man.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's also a pleasure to see my brother here. I haven't seen him since COVID started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. We talked on the phone a couple of times. He's one of my dearest brothers. But I haven't seen him
Long
physically.
conversations.
So thank God you organized this.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So yeah, glad to be here. The question that you asked him was, what is he working on?
Yeah, what are you doing?
And I like his answer because sometimes to sound like we are productive, we always want to seem like we are working on a whole lot of things, right? I'm working on this, I'm working on that, right? So I liked his answer. It was very precise and very clear. So I'm going to try to be precise and clear as well. So obviously my background is that I'm a property investor, I'm a property developer, and I can say that I'm an entrepreneur, you know, and I'm also the author of that book, It's More Than Just Money.
Yeah, great book.
Great book, yeah, great book. I actually took inspiration from him. After I wrote, I called him, TJ, I called him, I'm like, hey dude, how do you publish a book? And he walked me through
Serious?
what I need to do to write and publish a book. I kid you not. It seems like a coincidence,
Yeah.
but that's exactly what happened.
Oh, praise the Lord, eh?
Yeah, and then
That's what brothers are there for.
So now, before you guys leave,
Hint, hint.
you need to show me how to write a
write
book.
his own book.
I was complaining, I was telling them, listen, I've started with 2 chapters. It's the most difficult thing to do is write these stories down. Eh?
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to the books. Yeah?
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote this book 2020, got it published. Then now I'm busy also with the It's More Than Just Money movement, where we're conscientizing people with entrepreneurship, you know, being akin to investing, akin to building businesses. And also teaching them the cornerstones of wealth creation, which is business, property, shares, you know, and business being the biggest because you either work in a business to get an income or you own a business. You know, there's no other way you can get an income other than those 2 things, right? You either own a business or you work in a business. If you are buying and selling, that's a business, right? And then obviously property plays a key role in building wealth in any part of the world.
Yeah.
He talked about digital currencies. They haven't been tested for centuries. You know, business has been there, even BC. You know, property has always been there, even in the days of Abraham, if you read the Bible.
Yeah.
Most wars that have been fought over land. They've been fought over what property can do, whether it's livestock that you use, that you rear on a property, be it the inn. You talked about Jesus the other time when I was talking to you that he was born in. Yeah, he was born in a manger because the inn was full.
The inn was full. Did you read that in the Bible?
Yeah.
The inn was fully let, so they couldn't take him there, so that's why he was born in the manger.
Absolutely.
100%.
And then we also talk about the Good Samaritan, right? When that guy was beaten up on the road, he took him to an inn and he paid for months. So that guy could recover.
I didn't see that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's also in the Bible, so you must read your
Guys, you
Bible.
must read the Bible.
You understand? So property is one of the key cornerstones because it's been tested for years.
Yeah.
And you look at shares, even BC, I mean, when you do a project, you get other people to invest in what you're doing. If you don't have enough resources to pull through in a project, you involve other people.
Yeah.
So they have a share of what you're doing. And nowadays it's done through the stock exchange, right? All of those are the key cornerstones of wealth creation. Well, other businesses and other forms of building wealth have come up over the years, but they haven't been tested by time. So these are the ones that I'm sure that throughout the years, throughout the centuries, throughout the decades, these have been tested by time. You know, so that's the focus of what we're doing with the movement. We've done 6 provinces. We've done 5 provinces. We're going to the 6th one now in August, and then we do the last 3. And we would have gone through all capital cities in the country, just engaging with people and empowering them. You know, for me, there are 2 aspects of my business. One, it's profit driven. The other one has to have a social impact. So part of writing the book was more on the social side, you know, to say what sort of legacy can be left? You know, how many people can we touch? How many people can we inspire?
Yeah.
Not exactly to do the same things we do, because we're gifted differently as people.
Yeah.
Even if they can just get into what they are good at and do it, you know. So that's the whole ethos. So I guess it's two things as well: profit and a social impact. On my
No,
side.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, why I also asked you guys, because both of you are investors, both of you are teachers as well, right? So you
Yeah.
like sharing information.
For sure.
You like sharing information. And now where we are in this current economic climate, right? A lot of people are negative. Let's be honest. People are saying, ESCOM, the lights are off 6 hours a day. Okay.
We're not the first African country to go through that.
I don't know. I've never been up.
Perspective.
So we should be happy.
To join the club?
Join the club, huh? So people are saying, listen, there's ESCOM, lights are off 6 hours a day, right? That's annoying.
Yeah,
sure. Disruption.
It's a disruption. Businesses,
Yeah.
guys. There's wars, our petrol prices are up. When petrol goes up, you know as a developer. I'm handing a project over to a contractor tomorrow. We are so nervous that it's for him to say, listen, the cost has increased
It's
because
increased.
of A, Z, Z, Z. Luckily it hasn't yet, so praise the Lord. But now, it makes business difficult, it makes investing difficult. Right? Not impossible, but it just makes it a bit uncomfortable. So now, in this climate where we are, right, if we had to look at now property, we are all in property. But I want us to maybe start, we'll end with property. I want us to start with, when we're not financial advisors as well. So we're just going to tell people what we do.
Yeah, don't take our advice.
Don't take our advice, all right? Don't take our advice. Do your own research first, all right?
Yeah.
Stocks and shares, is that a good now to someone listening to say, listen, I want to invest in the stock market?
Yeah.
Is that a good place to invest your money now? And maybe what do you look for? What do you look for when you invest in stocks and shares?
Well, I could say it's the cheapest and most accessible place, even if you don't have employment, right? Because if you look at apps like Easy Equities, they've made it easy that for 300 rands a month you can start buying shares.
Yeah.
Right. So whereas if you are not employed, but you have some sort of income, you will not be able to buy property in the direct sense of buying property, like going to a bank, financing a property. They're going to want you to be able to provide some sort of proof of income, right? Unless you get an investor to invest in your project and you buy the property, you know. So with shares, what I've seen, which might be my opinion, is that, you know, my younger brother, for instance, or one of my cousins who are not fully employed, right, but have an income, be it as $1,000 from family or friends, or it's 2,000, and they're left with about 700 rands. They can use that to start building up a portfolio for themselves. Now, the type of shares they could buy, it differs from person to person and what their strategy is. You know, some people are buying shares so that they could have some form of cash flow in dividends. And some are buying for the long term, you know, and some are buying to trade. So it's different for every individual. So if they're starting, then it's a matter of what works for you as a person and what are you comfortable with. So in Limpopo, a week ago, for the It's More Than Just Money movement, and sitting there was a student that says that after she had spent everything, she's left with 1,500 from her allowance. What should she start doing? Now, you can't say to someone like that, go buy property. 1.5 doesn't buy property, right? But the easiest, she's 21, she could start learning how to buy shares. By the time she's 30, she would have built up a nice portfolio for herself to launch into other avenues.
By putting 500 or something.
Something. You know, it's better, you know, an investment made is better than a wish made. You know, I wish I had this.
Investment made is better than a wish made.
Exactly. Because you could sit and say, oh, I wish I had a large portfolio. But here you are, you've got 300 odd rands that you could start buying shares with, and the shares can grow in value. Can you imagine those guys who bought shares, Sasol shares in 2020? and they made a killing. You know, I remember a guy said he bought for 200,000 or something and made $1 million profit after a month or two. So can you imagine, even if you had spent, let's say, 2,000 to buy those shares, you would have made like 10,000.
But even my uncle, they bought Putumanati.
Putumanati shares, yes.
When it just came out, they were the first, I'm not sure how many, but when it wasn't open to the public, they bought Putumanati and MTN as well. He made millions in that. But now, what would you say? You also invest in shares. You buy companies. What do you buy? Big companies? Do you buy the Coca-Colas? Do you buy the Apples? Do you buy the Cecils? Or do you buy the penny shares? What?
Yeah, so I don't think it's a matter of having the discussion of what do you buy, or should you be buying in shares, or should you be buying whatever. I think for me it's really more around, number one, what's your hunger as an individual? If you've got hunger for anything, be it just to get to the next 1,000 rand or 500,000 or 1 million, then the next question that we should be asking ourselves as individuals, and I'm sure all of us, we asked the same questions when we were coming up into the space of money and business, is maybe what am I good at?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's easy for you to start at where you're good at.
Yeah.
Because we could be speaking about shares right now, and it's foreign to me. So my learning curve versus my winning curve is too far away.
Right.
But if I understand shares or some concept of business, and you're talking to me about shares, I can easily let go of my 1,000 rand because I understand it. Now, I do think that the biggest problem that we have in our communities is that Leroy, you come up with Tupperware, he comes up with something else, and we're not educated around that, and we jump in.
Right.
And then the Tupperware stops, and now we say it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's not the product that works. It's the individual. And the individual, for me, it's very much around, if you got hunger, that's number one, you're hungry about something. And then number two, are you good at something? Is it easy for you to digest whatever it is? You know, one of my great teachers, we've all been taught by Robert Kiyosaki, is whatever that you invest in, you need to understand
it.
For sure.
So the fact that you don't understand it, you put your money into it, when the money is eroding, you don't see it because you don't understand it. But if you understand it, when it starts eroding, that's an alarm, you take it out.
Yeah.
So hopefully your entire capital is not gone, right? So I might have a different risk appetite into the things that I can invest into. And it might sound very complicated for the next person because they're not educated around it. So let's go back to the point when I was employed. So I used to work for the bank, and within the banking sector, shares are being sold. It's very easy, things like that.
Yeah.
But I was doing that already in the bank at a very small scale. But I didn't go big on that. I went big on property. Because when I went for my education and things like that, I understood that. And I started doing it. But these days, I am now thinking, hold on, I've got student accommodation, it's going, I've got that business going, and it's all property related. What if that asset class goes down? What if something happens to it?
Yeah.
Or, as and when these businesses are going, property, there's very little that you can do, let's say, midway. So if you're renting your property, you're renting your property. So what are you doing? You got a bit of dead time.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, okay, let me learn how to buy businesses.
Right.
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 But again, I didn't just go and say, Coca-Cola, hey, I'm going to buy Coca-Cola. Because I don't have the money to buy Coca-Cola. I looked at some of my peers around me and I'm like, you just bought that business for 200,000 and you just sold it for $1 million. How did you do that? In a space of a year. So I asked the question, hunger was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I understood, right? But I lack understanding. So learning comes from different places. You can read a book or you can consume education, or I can tag along you. You can show me the ways.
Yeah.
So one of my businesses now, or one of the things that I'm doing to make money is I'm just hanging out around with people that buy and sell businesses as a living, which is the same as what we do in property. You flip
You're
property.
flipping businesses. Buy it for $1 million, you sell it for $5 million.
100%. And that journey literally started for me within this year. I'm in a learning curve right now.
You're a student.
You're still
You're a
new
student.
into it.
I think I'm a student for life.
Have you made money yet? Have you flipped?
I haven't flipped yet. I've put some money on the table. We're waiting for the payday.
Waiting to flip.
That's it.
Nice.
And for me, if you're doing that, I don't need to leave my business that I'm currently running. This is a side hustle. And if this side hustle gets me on a paycheck one day, bingo. Do I take that money? Do I put it into property?
Yeah.
Maybe. Do I put it into crypto? Maybe. Do I support his movement? Maybe.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is I've got options.
Did you hear that entrepreneurs also have side hustles?
Yeah.
So this is a business owner saying, I've got another side
Got
hustle.
another hustle.
That's key witness because when I left the bank, my biggest challenge was that I wanted a plan B. And property for me was a plan B. But then property became
The
a plan
main
A.
thing. Yeah.
So what was my plan B?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I'm like, hold on, I don't have a plan B. I'm screwed here. Yes, I've got multiple properties in different places that are giving me, but if you really look at all of it,
It's one thing.
it's one thing.
Yeah.
It's one asset class.
Yeah.
So where else can I now create a plan B? For other people, plan B could be a different geography. It's a different country. Or it could be a different industry altogether. But again, it comes back to the same questions of what's your understanding?
Yeah.
Are you learning it? And if you're learning it, then whether it's Tupperware, whether it is selling tomatoes on the street, anything is profitable.
Yeah.
Anything it is profitable.
You
There's
know what
nothing
I'm
that's
getting
not.
from what you're saying, TJ, is that a lot of people, the mistake that we make when we're starting is to diversify too early. So you're starting this property business, right? It's doing well. Then instead of focusing your attention on it because you're good at it,
Yeah.
you start something else too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You
now
become
you're-
an expert.
In this thing.
In this thing.
I mean, for TJ to be able to say, I'm flipping businesses now, is because property is doing so well.
Yeah.
Now, his time, because property, I mean, there's only so much time you can spend doing property, right? But because this thing, he's mastered it, he's able to do something else, you know. And I remember one time I was attending a seminar and I asked this guy who was a multi-millionaire, I said to him, should we start investing in shares? And he said to me, no. Continue to invest in your business because you understand your business more than the business you invest in the JSE. You're going to take money out of your business to put it in somebody else's business, but you haven't mastered what you're doing yet.
Right.
Yeah.
You only start investing there when you know
this-
for a sure
yeah.
that this ship can even run without me.
Yeah.
You know, it's doing so well that I can even detach myself from it to go learn something else and invest in it. So that way you diversify, but you diversify at a higher scale. Even though you're starting small on the buying of and selling of businesses, it's no longer small like it would have been if you started 5 years ago. It's small, but I mean, putting 200,000, 300,000 there is no longer as risky as putting 300,000 or 3 million 5-6 years ago when you were starting your business journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's, so you said something key there about find out what you're good at,
Right.
what you're interested in,
Yeah.
and then educate yourself on that.
Yeah.
Educate yourself on that.
Yeah.
And because I remember, I went, about 8 years ago when we started, you go for a Forex course, you go for a property course,
Yeah.
you go for a gold and silver course, because we're finding our way, and I went for a Forex course. I paid 30,000 for a forex course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
When was
lost.
that?
Yo. This was about 8-10 years ago.
Okay.
Learn to trade.
2012.
Yeah, long ago, my man. I started before property. I was busy searching for wealth. I was busy seeing what I can
The
what
asset
I,
class.
Yeah,
that
what
would
I can
work.
get myself into forex. And you know these forex guys, they show you one trade where you made 60,000 rand in those 2 hours. Those 2 hours where we sell, like I sold him on my 2 hours. Remember my 2 hours? In the
Yeah.
2 hours where you sell and you make property sound very easy.
Yeah.
in
Look
2
at me
hours.
now.
Look at me now.
I got him on this. He came to my presentation.
But look where he is now.
And then he went past us all, like saying, yeah, we're still busy. This man is buying buildings, he's got access. I said, no.
Yeah.
Andrew,
At that
we need
moment,
to step up our game. Look what TJ's doing.
at that moment, Leroy, for some people, they would come into the seminar, they walk away with nothing. Depending on how hungry you are, you'll gravitate to something.
For that knowledge that you're getting, right?
Right. And you run with that.
Yeah.
If the running is not there,
Yeah.
that's where the problem is. Then we say it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that room, there were people who walked out and said,
There were
"This thing
people,
doesn't
probably
work."
other people, no?
Yeah, this thing doesn't work.
100
yeah.
people, only one person probably
Yeah.
did something with it.
Yeah.
But why is that, guys? It's
hard.
I think it goes back to what you were saying.
Why do so little people take action? We can tell them now, you make money in stocks and shares, you've bought hundreds of properties, I do this. But why do so little people, everyone needs more money.
I have an answer for you.
Everyone needs more money, and especially now, everyone needs more money because everything is going up. So we need a side hustle, we need to make more money. But why do so little people actually do it? You do this around the country.
Yeah.
How many people actually go out and take action
And
on what you
execute.
teach them?
You know what the thing is? What we talk about and what we do is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do.
Right.
Wait, say that again?
What we talk about and what we do
Yeah.
is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
That's the thing
It's
about
easy
it.
to do, it's also easy not to do. Explain that.
Yeah. So it's easy to do in the
When
sense
you
that-
understand it, you may want to tweet that, eh?
Yeah, you might want to tweet it.
I'll tweet it, yeah. I'll sound, you know me, I like to sound intelligent with other people's stuff. Why complicate life, eh?
So here's the thing, right? If you pick up my book or TJ's book, you learn all there is about business and property because we're not thumb sucking it. It's told from the perspective of people who have done it before.
Yeah.
So if you apply step-by-step guide, you'll get the results.
Yeah.
Because I'm not talking about some foreign stuff that somebody else has done. I'm talking about some of the things that I've done. So if you do what I've done, you'll probably achieve what I've achieved, even more. I mean, there's a lady, she's a cleaner at the municipality. That lady wrote to me and said, I read your book and I didn't know I could buy property. I'm 8,000.
Yeah.
I bought my first property. And I've rented it out and I'm receiving rental. I've got cash flow, positive cash flow from my property.
Wow.
And then she said, okay, cool. A year later, 2021, she wrote to me again. I've saved over 60,000 rands. I'm buying my second property because I'm continuing to stay at home while receiving my rental money, right? Someone like that, it sounds easy because they took action,
Right.
right? But it would have been easy for her to say, that's not for me.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
It would have been easy for the same person to say, maybe property is for educated people that work for the bank.
Yeah.
And tell you what, even some of the people who work for the bank don't own property.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, because it's easy not to do it. It's easy to just overlook it. It's
Yeah.
easy not to start a business. In as much as it is easy to start a business. I mean, what do you need to do to start a business? Like he said, what are you good at? What is your gift? Your gift will direct which direction you need to go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing a movement now, but that's because I love teaching, I love meeting people, I enjoy teaching.
Likes
people.
talking too.
And I love talking, right? So which means, what am I doing? I've identified that, actually my gift is to write. That's
Yeah.
why I'll write every day, even for free. So it's my gift. before I could publish the book, I wrote so many posts for free, and people benefited from
Do you read
my
these
work for
posts?
free.
Hey, he's a
I
good
do.
storyteller. Eh?
Yeah. I comment on some of them too.
I don't comment. I just read. I just read and admire and think.
Right? So they're written for free.
Yeah.
And then when the book was published, now people could say, oh, actually, I know that this guy can write. Let me get his book. Then the speaking, I'm here now sitting at the podcast because I'm going to be speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I've identified the things that I'm good at. Property is one of them. Business is one of them. Speaking is one of them. Writing is one of them. Then you hone in on that one thing that you know you can do very well, and you build a business out of it. I mean, talking is everywhere. Even in the boardroom, I have to negotiate and convince you to go with my deal instead of that other guy's deal. All of that is talking.
Yeah.
But because I understand, actually, my gift is to speak. So I must use it to my advantage even when I'm doing other deals other than speaking on a podium. Right? So it goes back to what you were saying. What's your gift? What are you good at?
But we must not also not be ignorant, Leroy, to the fact that there are some people that would be okay. Witness can see where I'm
This
going
is where
with
you're
this.
going with this.
There are some people that are going to be okay just being an employee somewhere.
Yeah. And it's fine.
There's nothing
There's
wrong
nothing
with
There's
wrong
nothing
with
wrong.
it,
That's
right?
what they want.
it. Right?
There's nothing wrong with
If
it.
they are happy in that space,
Yeah.
that's okay. Then there are some other people that are going to be a little bit crazy like me and Witness like you. We want to start businesses and so on. We want to teach other people.
Start a podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We are not all the same. And that's fine to identify also in our communities that when Witness is going out there doing this movement and you're expecting 200 people to pitch up and only 20 pitches up,
Yeah.
they've heard the message, but they cannot come because it doesn't speak to them. But hold on, it may not speak to them today. They get retrenched, or life forces them to hear the message. And now at their point of hunger, they are starting to look for the information. I started doing property in my mid-30s. Where was I in my mid-20s? I wasn't ready. I've got some of my team members on my team, 23, 29, they're killing it. So at the time of your hungerness, or at the time when you are ready, the teacher will appear. Yeah.
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
That's it.
Yeah.
I am hungry now to want to learn about this flipping of business. So now all of a sudden I'm seeing it everywhere.
You're meeting people that are doing this thing. They're
amazing.
appearing out of nowhere.
It's like when buying a car, suddenly you see
the
this
thing.
car everywhere.
Oh, the blue t-shirt effect, right?
Eh?
Right? And is this a new concept? It's not. It's new to me. It's like going to church for the first time. And you go there, hallelujah, hallelujah. And you think, I found Jesus. No, he's been around.
He's been
all the
around.
time. It's you.
Yeah.
Right?
He's new to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you put yourself in those positions, especially from a point of hunger? So you are hungry, you want to do something, look around. There are people around you.
But I love
You're
that.
just spotting
TJ.
it.
You know why I love it? It speaks to what we were talking about earlier when I said TJ is the one that was giving me guidance on how to publish the book.
Yeah.
When the hunger was there and I was ready, you were there.
Yeah.
That's the guy I need to go to.
Yeah.
TJ, how do I publish it? I've
Yeah.
written, I've started. Where do I go?
Yeah.
Who do I speak to? What do I
Yeah.
do? So the action then starts to reveal the people that need to be assisting you. So it's like faith, right? You know, with faith, God requires you. He says, "Draw closer to me, and I will draw closer to you." So meaning, the more you draw close,
Yeah. So you have to make the first step.
you need to make the first step.
Yeah.
You know, business in and of itself is faith. You know, when you say, I see with the movement, when you say you want to go to a place like Eastern Cape, I was there, right? Who do I know in Eastern Cape? I had never been there. But it's faith to say, oh, we'll pay for the hotel, we'll pay for all of that, we'll pay for flights,
Yeah.
we're going to catch the flights and go there. and God is going to bring the people.
And now you have new relationships in Eastern Cape.
I've got new relationships now in Eastern Cape. I can pick up the phone and call certain people. Hey, I need a building there. An estate agent will say, no, I know where to find you a building. But I didn't have that relationship before. You know, so what I'm learning is that sometimes we overlook the work that we've done so far to get to where we are.
Right.
You know, you look at it and say, I could do that. But you forget that there were times where you were even scared to make that step. There were times where you worried about whether or not that project is going to be finished. I remember during COVID, I had project that stopped because everybody must stay at home. But you've already put in a couple of millions in that project, or thousands, right? And you are not getting the return. The bank is not saying, no, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's okay. It's okay, don't pay us. They're like, no, you don't qualify for that COVID relief because we can see the money coming into the account. So pay us. What do? You must pay. But the project has stopped. You're not realizing any return from it yet. You don't even know what the future holds. Nobody knew what the future held with COVID. And that's why we had to resort to things like writing books. My life was very quiet.
In COVID?
My life was very quiet before COVID. Nobody knew who I was. I just did business, attended seminars. Ask TJ, I would go sit in his seminars, take notes, make a few comments, not even make any noise for anyone to see me, get in my car, leave. I lived a quiet life. But COVID forced me
out of your comfort zone.
Out of my comfort zone to become somebody else that I'm even shocked that, I didn't know you were this person. You know, so it's that taking of that step.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't do it, because it's the uncomfortable, the unknown. And it's also hard work, let's not lie.
It's a lot of work, because now you've put your life in the public image, right? I was not a public figure then, I'm more of a public figure now. Everything you do is a bit calculated. You know, I remember a week ago, so I go to the restaurant near where I stay. So I sit down, I sit alone, and I've got my hoodie on. So I order a glass of wine, and I'm eating. And my phone goes click, it's a message, it's an inbox from Facebook. Obviously somebody I've never met, somebody I don't know.
Sure.
They're like, why are you sitting alone with a glass of wine? So you understand that there are people who know me and I don't even know them. They see my every action and I'm not even aware who's looking. Whereas before, I could go into that place and do whatever I want and nobody even knows who I was. So now my life is more under scrutiny than it was before. So which means now I'm forced to grow into a different person, a more responsible person, a person who calculates. Now you've got investors, you have to portray yourself in a proper way in public. Even when you want to go crazy, you can't. TJ, do you go crazy?
You see me, I'm prim and proper now. I speak good English.
Exactly. So it forces you.
I've been reprimanded for wearing a hoodie. Apparently I need to wear a jacket all the time.
You must wear a suit, you guys
And he looks good in suits. Look at that.
Look at this, look at that.
But I think that's probably more.
He has my trophy. He has my trophy. Me and him were the two finalists for this award.
For this award? And he took the trophy.
And he took the trophy, this man. Yes.
You know what they say about the teacher and the master, eh?
Yeah. The student is outshining the master now.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And as teachers, I'm sure we all see that. I've got a few students now. Some of my students in a year, they are killing it. Stuff that I've never done in 2 years or 3 years. They're doing it in a couple of months. Yeah.
Then that's what happened to me and Endo. You know Endo?
Yeah.
We were also talking, but when we were talking about you, and we were teaching, but we weren't implementing. We were just teaching.
Right.
For a while, and that's what happens. Is you start teaching and you focus on teaching.
On the teaching,
but you're not taking as much action as you were before then, and then you need to focus again and say, listen, you know what? Let me get out there in the streets again, and start looking. So I think to summarize that part of the conversation was find out what you're good at. Get the hunger first. It comes at different. Sometimes you're forced, you get retrenched. Sometimes you've got a desire of your own. And I think it's good educated.
I think it's good to work from a desire, because when you're working from a point of desperation, then anything
Looks good.
goes.
Yeah.
Looks good, yeah.
And anything looks good. And that's what
100%.
happens. And then someone comes with this business and you want to jump in
You
it.
wanna jump
And
into
TJ comes with buying companies. And Witness says buy shares. And Leroy says buy crypto. And this one says buy properties.
property,
and you're
yeah.
just jumping from one thing to the next thing.
Yeah.
Just because you're desperate for
But also
for bucks.
on that, right? I think it's also good to understand what your lower hanging fruits are. You know, because all of these are wealth building mechanisms. So if starting a business is where your strengths are, you start there so that you could build up to buying property, build up to buying shares. If buying shares at a small scale is where you can start, then you start there and learn to buy shares, then you eventually start a business. So I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think there is anywhere that you would need to actually start. It's different for every individual. I worked for 14 months for somebody my entire life, and then I quit. I went into business. And it was risky because I quit at a time my mother was in hospital. I was paying about, because the medical aid had exhausted, we had to put her in a step-down facility. I was paying about 12,000 excluding medication every month.
Now, how can you quit the job that time?
There was a hunger in me. You talked about a hunger, right? There was a hunger in me.
Probably the job wasn't even giving you 12,000.
Well,
So
the
you had
job
to
was
make a
giving me
plan.
12,000, so all the money was going towards there.
Show the fool and you quit your job.
Yeah.
And we haven't counted food, medication, transport to work, looking after my siblings, looking after the household. So in any case, quitting was more like, it's the same, that money goes all the way to that thing in any case. Then I quit. Well, unfortunately, 4 months later, she passed on after I had quit. But what I'm most proud of when I think of that was being able to take action even in the midst of turmoil, in the midst of a challenging situation. And I think as entrepreneurs, as business people, whether you're starting or you're a veteran, there'll always be a challenging situation in your life one way or another, whether it's COVID, whether it's the death of a parent, whether it's the death of a sibling. All of those are things that could put you off. You know, it's things that can make you literally quit. And can you imagine you starting your dream, you want to build, and then you lose your mother? You know, as a young 23-year-old, 24-year-old at the time.
Doesn't matter what age you are.
It doesn't,
It hits you back.
It hits you.
Yes.
It takes you probably 3-4 years back.
Yes, yes.
Because you can't think straight, you're emotionally down.
Yeah.
But how do you pick up yourself?
Yes, and then, you know, recently I got divorced, right? That's something that also can take you back as a business person. I mean,
How do you manage those things? Death comes, divorce comes.
Maybe the question is that a good thing or bad thing that he got divorced?
is it a good thing or a good thing?
Whether it's a good thing or it's a painful thing.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? I think sometimes we need to look at things in hindsight. You know, Steve Jobs says you cannot connect the dots looking forward. And sometimes you're able to connect them looking backwards.
Sure.
To say, I went through that thing. I mean, TJ knows I loved my ex-wife. I mean, I would come with her to seminars, would sit in front and would be asking questions, learning. And all of a sudden, I mean, it didn't work. And I wouldn't want to go into the details of why, because I mean, I wouldn't want to put anyone in a different light. But the thing is, it hits you. And then now the question will always be, how do you then stabilize and what do you value? For me, the thing that I valued the most when going through my separation and my divorce was my daughter, right? Anything else I can replace. You take a business from me, I can replace it. You take a property from me, I can replace it. Even if you take the book, I can write another one. But my daughter, now I cannot replace her. So which means I had to hone in and say, but my biggest value here is family and my daughter, right? So I negotiated for me to stay with my daughter during my divorce and post the divorce, right? So that was my biggest focus. If you say you want the property, keep it, take it. If you want that, take it. Those are things I can replace. But even in doing take it, you're also setting yourself back one way or another, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have to figure out a way to rebuild from there. But for me, the biggest pain would have been to rebuild while my daughter is not there. Because I value family so much, right? If she wasn't there, probably I would have been depressed. And also, it kept my life stable. You know, when this thing of publicity, this thing of being famous is not good sometimes, because it focuses so much attention on your life, and if you are not disciplined, and if you don't have a set routine,
You can get distracted.
you can get distracted.
A lot of inboxes, a lot of messages.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm staying with my daughter and somebody wants to visit me, you can't. My
Yeah.
daughter is home. Because I value my daughter more than what I would be doing with any other
Sure.
person. So it puts my life in a straight line. So I thank God that that was one of the mechanisms that helped me. And then also, I guess, understanding the level of loss, right? I lost my mother, I lost my brother, I lost my brother to gang violence, right, in Tembisa. I lost my late sister. So when I was going through therapy, the therapist actually made me aware that the loss of my brother, my mother, my sister is bigger than the loss of a marriage. And I actually realized I had not mourned those people the way I was supposed to. Now, when I did the comparison, I figured, let me just focus my attention on mourning this and realize that this is not even a big thing in comparison. And it was a matter of perspective to say, what is it that can build you as a person? So you're going through something, you need a coach. I'm fortunate, I mean, I had friends like TJ and them. I would call, TJ, what do you think of 1, 2, 3? What should I do? Be like, Chana, if you do that, you'll get into trouble. If you do that, you'll do this instead of that. You know, you'll be happier. You're the one who actually said you'll be happier staying with your daughter than her being away from you. You understand? It sounds like words, but that advice, when applied, becomes so powerful. And like we said earlier, it would have been easier for me not to do it. As much as it was easy for me to do it, to say, okay, let's value this. So a coach is important. A mentor is important, right? And then a therapist. So a coach, mentor, therapist. So the coach will be showing you your blind spots because you're in pain. You can't see where you're going. You don't know what's happening. You've never been a business person that's divorcing, or you've never been a business person in the middle of fighting for a child. Then you have a friend or a coach or somebody that's been through it saying, no, don't do it that way. If you do it that way, you'll cause this. Then you take that advice and apply it. Then a mentor is hard on you. He's saying, no, get up.
Keeps you accountable.
You still have work to do. I don't care whether you're going through this or you need to do this. Have you done your next deal? Are you running your business? Why is it that show me the numbers? What's going on? Yes, I hear you going through that, but is the business continuing? Because your life needs to continue. The mentor will be hard. And the therapist will sit with you on the couch and you'll cry there. You'll be crying, saying, yo,
It's good to cry.
It's good to cry.
It's good to
of
cry.
course.
Is it?
It's good to cry. You let it out.
Men don't cry.
No, men cry.
From Boxburg, you mean?
Oh, Boxburg men don't cry.
We were at a men's conference now on Saturday at church, and once we're done with this, I want to talk about faith in business. Because we're all Christians, right? How your faith plays a part. And we're sitting, and this guy's emotional. He's talking about his daughter that he took in for an operation, a heart, and then he took her into the theater, and she came out, and she says, everyone, my daddy fixed my heart.
Right.
And then he said he realized how he held his daughter's heart in his hands. And amen. And we're sitting there, all men, 500 to 1,000 men today. You know, you see everyone's emotional, but no one wants to cry.
But you can't cry in public, right? Then you cry in the secret place.
Sure.
What is the secret
It was
place?
just funny how men are sitting.
No,
and it's
men-
emotional, dude. I was this close, but I'm.
You held it in.
Because we were taught not to cry.
Not
We were
cry.
taught not to. But for me, because and funny enough, the therapist was a guy, right? And he told me, let it out, dude. I want to hug you. According to what he said, I want to hug you.
Yeah.
But let it out. Then I said, then my brother, let it out. And after, when you have done the therapy, you have a coach, you have a mentor, and you've joined the gym. I was thinner than I am now. I've bulked up, and I look better. You know, I look at my pictures.
You're looking sexy. Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I look at my pictures when I was married. I'm like, hey, who's this guy? I'm looking, and this guy thought he was 8. So in hindsight, when you look at it, you're like, but this thing has actually turned out to be for my good.
I'm a better person.
I'm a better person than I was. I'm a better father because I have a better relationship with my daughter. We've spent the time together. you know, and I can say even my business improved. Funny enough, because now the antennas were up. You've got to make things work.
Yeah.
If you don't make it work, then you're a failure. You failed in marriage, you failed in business.
I mean, if I summarize what Witness is saying here, and Witness has given us an example of being down, but it can be anything.
Yeah, of course.
Right? I think the first thing is that do not operate like an ostrich. You know, put your head in the sand, but your body is being heated out there. You can't do that. You have to face it. But how do you face it? Get people that will support you around you. Potentially, you're not the only one who's facing this. There's many people.
Sure.
But get expert help.
Expert help,
Yeah.
mentor, coach.
Yes.
A therapist. You said something that us black people don't know about.
Right.
A therapist.
and don't stop. He speaks of continuing, having someone who's accountable to him, telling him, do that. And many a times we stop. And then when we stop, we actually go into a bigger hole because we stopped.
Sure.
So if you continue forging ahead, where you're going and what you're doing, because of everyone else who's supporting you, you start seeing yourself better and better. And then when you stop at some point and you look back, you're a better person. You've got a better business. It doesn't mean that all of us are not having problems. I have my own problems. You have yours. But we never stop. We continue going. And the bigger you get, the more problems you have. No.
Better quality problems.
Yes.
But the bigger your problems are too. Now you before you were dealing with a 10,000 rand problem.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
of
you're
course.
dealing with a 10 million.
Yes, it's complex.
And
So with solving one problem, you're actually creating another one.
you're dealing with a 10 million problem.
So problems will always be
Will
there.
always be there.
Yeah.
You just need to learn how to navigate them, who to help you to navigate them. In the last 2 years for me, it has been really much around who can help me navigate certain problems.
Sure.
Is it from a legal perspective? I need the right legal partner.
Right.
Is it from an accounting perspective? I need the right accounting team. Is it from a construction perspective? The Baki builder who used to help you with your multi-let is not the same guy that's going to help you with a 10 million rand development.
Love it. Love that.
It's a different complex problem. The problem could be the same, but now because it's bigger,
complex.
you need a quality
Yeah.
partner who can help you with that.
And you also grow in this.
100%.
You're growing.
You're learning in the process all the way.
So
And that's
TJ,
what life is all
Your
about.
problems when starting are not the same as when you've grown.
Dude, I don't have the same accountant. I don't have the same legal team that I used to have when I started off.
Can I ask you this? Now your problems are getting bigger. You're a Christian,
Yeah.
I like bringing in Jesus because, hey man,
You go to God more often than before, man.
now, true. You know, this week alone, man. So not this week, the last 2 weeks. You think you've got all the money for this, and there's just another thing you didn't look at it, and what. And hey, and it's amazing when you put your trust in God, how things.
And for
Money was paid into the account that I wasn't expecting.
So I don't have those miracles.
Yeah,
I'm looking for those miracles.
But how does faith?
miracles.
How does faith play a role in your business and?
So personally, for me, it's immense. I could have never been here had it not been for God. You know, being abandoned from a very young age and living the life that I have, it's just practically impossible, right? But I then want to bring it into business, and I want to maybe spend like the next minute or so, like talking about it in terms of, number one, your faith is your faith. It's yours. Now, who you're going to partner with in your business, it's got nothing to do with your faith. You may partner up with people that may be like of faith, but they are not. How do you see that when problem starts coming up, then you start seeing it? How do you see that when there is more money on the table and now you're saying, hey, we need to take this money for charity, we need to take this money for tithe,
Yeah.
and then people are like, No.
Don't think so.
No, that you need to do that for yourself. Now, how do you then navigate that? It's pretty simple. The faith is yours. You now need to only control what is in your sphere, because if you don't do that and you're wanting to be camaraderie, to say all of us we need to go there, you're going to get distracted immensely. And besides, I might be Baptist, and you might be salvation, and you might be something else. We are all from the faith, but different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
So now, how do you, if we are all going to go into business, how do you do it? Some principles you can speak about them up front, but some you may not. The characteristics of the individuals might come out in different phases. So for an example, I might be of faith matured 10 years. You might be of faith 20 years in practice, but matured 1 year. So what I'm going to do, and this is what you're going to do, are potentially different, but should I judge you? No, I mustn't. That's what faith is all about. We are all in different spaces of our lives of faith, and we need to be forgiving of the next person as we go along. So the bottom line of it is that the faith is yours. That's number one. Number two, it's for you to cultivate. And number three, how do you make sure that others who are around you can see the bigger picture of the faith? Because he doesn't know, you know a little bit. So by me doing what is the rightful things in character and in obedience, you can also now play a part in it. And together, we are all better faith people. And then the last thing is that whatever you do, remember you're a human being as well, but it's not an excuse. You are going to fall into sin. You're natural.
Yeah.
But how do you get up from there? Getting up from there is that it's simple. You forgive and then you move on. And for me, that's what is kind of like played within trying to understand the business aspect of it and leading in faith. They are not separate in my world. It's one and the same thing. It's me. And that's why I say I'm not about property, I'm not about Jesus, I'm not about that. I'm about two things, the money and the family. And who leads me? It's Jesus, that's it.
And I think that's so important, because you know what I've been thinking, that people that don't believe in God now, obviously we believe in Jesus. If you don't believe, you're alone. Which means I've just got me, Leroy. And it's scary to think.
Leroy, everyone believes in something.
Even if it's themselves.
However, what happens is that, and I've gone through this before personally, is when life is good, there's no bigger power.
Yeah.
You are the power. When life goes deep under, you start searching. Because there's no one else who can help you.
You are alone.
Now, yes, when you start searching now, and then people start to think, oh God, that's why you see lots of people going to church during Easter, during Christmas. Right? Because they are looking for something.
New Year.
Yes. Yes, for New Year resolutions, because God can help me throughout the year.
Yeah.
No, you're just coming one time. It should be constant, right? So for me, the thing about being a business person, I like to call myself being the money person, and faith, they both speak to each other. It's the characteristics now that you start seeing that comes out. And that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Witness?
The scripture I'm looking for.
Yes, witness is looking. I told you. Read. Get it out.
So,
The word of God.
it's
I
not-
met witness to a pastor.
It's not
At a
Jesus.
wedding.
It's not Jesus wept that you're looking for. I can tell you where that is.
Jesus wept. No, there's a scripture I'm looking for. I think it's in Hebrews. It basically talks about be faithful in prayer, be patient in tribulation,
Right.
and something about being steadfast.
Be faithful in.
Be faithful in prayer, patient in tribulation, and something about steadfast. You
I
know,
can't help you where it is.
Yeah, but basically, where that comes from is the fact that it's actually in Romans. Now that I think of it, you asked about our faith, and how it helps you in your business. We go through different kinds of testing when you're in business, and like TJ said, everybody has got a different faith. You cannot force your team to pray, for instance.
Yeah.
And even in prayer, it's different. I think I've learned to even pray differently, and by that I mean I've learned to personalize my journey, and to understand that even in silence, God still hears me. And I think the mistake we make is that I must always be raising my hands and saying, God hear me, say so many things.
Yeah.
God hears me. He knows what's in my heart. And I've learned to pray in gratitude more than anything. I mean, if let's say, for instance, I'm 33, right? My brother died when he was 22. So I'm privileged to have made it 10 years more than this guy.
Sure.
I'm privileged and I should be grateful. I'm grateful to God because it's my personal journey.
You're not different from your brother. You're raised with the same parents,
Yes.
in the same neighborhood, potentially had the same friends.
Yeah.
And how come he's gone and you're still around?
I'm still around. It's not because
So be
I'm
grateful
wiser
for
than
that.
him.
Yes.
It's not because I'm better. It's just that God has given me more time and more grace. You understand? My sister died when she was 18, leaving a toddler. So I look at those things and realize that, for people close within my family are not alive today, and I am. And I'm grateful that I am. And I realize that I can use my time wisely instead of, because somebody could have had the same time and they didn't.
That's powerful.
And I also, and I look at the fact that I've got a business. And for a young person, I'm doing well. Some of my friends are on drugs. People I grew up with in the same neighborhood, they're on drugs.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm better than them. I've made it to the point of starting a business. I'm meeting people everywhere. I'm sitting here with you guys. I'm grateful.
But witness, your choices in life were different.
Absolutely.
And I think it's very important for us to discuss those things. It's because where you are today, if you just whatever choice that you're making today, it has an impact on tomorrow.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's the only difference that we have with everyone else. And for some reasons, some days, we make the wrong choice and then we find a different knowledge tomorrow.
Yeah.
Change your choice.
For sure.
So that you have a different path, right? So the drugs syndrome in our communities, it's there.
It's everywhere, yeah.
But you choose otherwise.
Yeah.
And you're at a party, it comes back again, you choose otherwise.
And you see, it doesn't stop.
Oh yeah.
Because it's constantly chasing you.
Yeah.
And it's important to actually realize that. Could have been 16, you missed it, 23, 24, 25, 30, and then now you make a little bit of money. You're invited everywhere, right?
Yeah, everyone wants you.
Everybody wants to be around you. You get the privilege of being in certain places, and people have got certain lifestyles.
Yeah.
And it would be up to you, like you said, to make that decision to say, no, I don't partake in those things.
Sure.
I'll do business with you
But-
at that level, but we can't go up to
Yeah.
this level. It's a decision I'm making.
Yeah.
So that scripture says, be faithful, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. So for me, the faithfulness in prayer is gratitude for me, because there's only so much you can ask from God. I must be honest. Me, I don't ask God for bread anymore. You understand? Because He's already provided the bread. You can't ask for something you already have.
Right.
So I can only be grateful that at least I've got bread.
That's powerful. I'm starting to pray from a place of gratitude.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, when you build a business, come on. There are certain partners you meet, you realize, no, this one is not because I'm smart. It's not because of my own connection that I was able to raise that money.
Yeah.
There's a hand of God somewhere here.
Oh yeah,
The
for
favor
sure.
you have sometimes with people, eh?
Yeah.
Where you walk in and people just want to help
They
you. and say,
gravitate
"Who are
towards
you?
you."
Young man, I like you. I'm not sure why,
How do you explain
but I
that?
want to help
How do,
you.
how do you explain it?
And I'm going to get in this thing with you. I get that a lot, eh? Say, I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I'm going to help you.
I can tell you what it is. It's God.
It's God. It's God. No, but it's the favor of God, eh?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. But I think, gents, sure. I think we can go on all day.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we can go on all day. So, but we over time now. So, guys, I hope you enjoy that. I think what I wanted to do as well was go into maybe stock, shares, property. But I think it went a whole nother.
You did. You did.
Get
Leroy.
so I think if we can summarize it, TJ,
Yeah.
from my side, right? I'm gonna say and then is find out what you want to do,
Yeah,
get the education,
yeah,
find someone who's doing it, mentor, a
Yeah.
coach,
yeah,
all right?
yeah,
And it's important to have God in your life too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was so whether it be property, whether it be crypto, whether it be business, whether it be shares, whether it be a podcast, learn about it, find someone who's doing it well, better than you are, follow them,
Yeah.
and keep going, eh?
Yeah.
And keep
The more
going.
you're
Be
educated,
steadfast.
The
Don't
more
stop.
the more that they're educated, the less they need to hear from people that say, now we should buy crypto.
Yeah.
Now we should be doing this. Because you already know.
Yeah.
You don't need anyone.
Yeah.
You are making the decisions consciously yourself. Robert says you should always invest money that you are prepared to what?
To lose. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So guys, last words. Where follow you? Where do we get your book? You've written another book now. First Millionaire in the Family. What's the book?
Be the first millionaire in your family.
This man is the first millionaire in his family. Man.
The millionaire is a metaphor. You can be first at anything. It's very difficult to be the first to something
Pioneer.
because there's no path.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wrote that book is to say you can be. But where there is no path, what do you do? And the book gives you the steps of getting there.
Yeah.
I'm busy with my third book now. I don't know when it's going to be published, but we'll get there. In closing, be great at what you're doing. You've already been winning. By watching us now, you've already been winning. Take the actions and gravitate into whatever that you want to do. And if you can stop less of listening to other people that just say, do that, instead of you understanding and learning what you want to do, then your path will be different. And who knows, when you start winning, we might be in your class or in your seminars to learn from you.
Here we go. Taurai Jack. Where do we follow you? Where do we get the books?
www.tauraijack.com.
www.tauraijack.com. Guys, get the books. Follow him, and you're going to learn a lot. Powerful. Witness Mdaka.
Yeah.
Follow this man and listen to you and read his stories. Like say, hey, I admire them. I'm like, how did this guy write this? And even the way you write, yes, so good. Powerful.
Yeah,
Where
there's
do
a
we follow-
difference. He went to the Model C school, right? And when
You're saying the Kasi schools are bad.
I didn't say that. Now you're
Kasi
telling
schools
us
are
where you
bad. Come charge out township schools. I also went. I was primary school. I was in a township school. High school. I went to Model C school.
Yeah.
I'm glad we only have a spoon here. Eh? We don't have other tools.
Hey. Witness, where do we follow you and where can we learn from you? Where do we get the book?
You can get the book on www.witnessmdaka.com. You can find it on Amazon and smashword.com. I am Witness Mdaka on all social media platforms. Or you can Google me. You'll find me there somewhere. And then my parting words would be, there's a quote by a revivalist named Leonard Ravenhill. He says, "The opportunity of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of that opportunity."
Come on.
The opportunity of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of that opportunity. It's like opportunity is like a window. The window opens and there's a time when it closes.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to grab and use that opportunity, you must go in while the window is open. You know, being young is an opportunity because you're not going to be young forever. So while the window of youth is still open, we want to use our vibrance, our vitality, our strength to make all our dreams a possibility. You know, make them come true. When you're 50 and above, and I'm not saying you're done when you're 50, but it's difficult to be as youthful as you were when you were younger. So we have that opportunity. Let's use it to the best of our advantage, you know. And my heart goes out to anyone that's going through pain. And may they heal. May they find the healing. May they actively work through it. The biggest thing is not losing momentum. Continuing with the momentum no matter what. Because challenges, they're there to what? To stop you.
Yeah.
But if you keep going, then your momentum builds up. So yeah, those are my parting words. Love you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, witness Mdaka, Taurai Jack conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire.
Boom.
Boom.